Welcome to Herf So Live, the show where we have the most eclectic lineup of guests, of which some smoke cigars and some who don't. Either way, we bring you the best content weekly. Herf Zone Live is sponsored by StogiLives.com, a social media site just for cigar smokers. Sign up for free and connect with cigar lovers from all over the world. Set up with similar features to Facebook and other social media sites. You can grow your network, start group host events, and see why everyone is talking about StogiLives.com. Make sure to connect with Team Shirtless Mike and Herf Zone Live and tell me you came because of the show. Team Shirtless Mike and Herf Zone Live are also getting behind a special project with Ace Prime Cigars and Stogie Press. They're working to raise money for a daycare center in Jalapa, Nicaragua to help out workers in the cigar industry, among helping in other ways. You can check out the news article and learn more about the project down in the live stream description. What is going on? You have people in the comments right now, and I know you didn't come because of me, so I'm going to say what's up here. We got, let's see who's here. I've got Taya, Prayer, what's going on? Got my boy House Guest. Got my boy Andrew McCreary, what's up? Y'all, thanks for tuning in. And yeah, so without further ado, you'll get on the links. I'm gonna get the show started. And that's about the podcast room. I have 4 awesome sisters to leave. We got Miss Christine Russell Moore, owner of Lipsticks Bigger Tips. We got Drita Hyde from Elegantplume. We got Moxie from AZ Moxie. And we got Ashley from Big Ashes Cigar. So I'm gonna bring them on, and that was the intro because they were wanting to get to know each other. And I just left the show, so let's bring them on here. So one at a time. Let's wait till everybody gets up here. All right, we got everybody in. I probably was a little choppy, but it's all good. How is everybody doing tonight?
We is good. We is.
Oh,
Hey, ladies.
doing good, Mike.
I got a cigar, so it's all that matters.
All right, so now, yes, so now you guys can officially meet each other. I'm sorry for taking you off right before I had to go live, but you guys can make your introductions and say hello real quick. So and I'm gonna finish lighting this cigar here.
All right. Well, I'll start. I am Christine Moore, Mobile Cigar Lounge. I'm Miss who was also pretty big in the cigar industry. So I am thanking Miss Mike for allowing us to come on here and get on his platform, talk about our love for cigars and any possible business behind it. So thanks for having me, and hello, ladies.
Hello.
Hey.
I guess I'll go next. So my name is Drita. I smoke underneath the moniker Elegantplume. I started the brand in 2015. Started off with doing cigar calendars, and then started hosting for cigar events at different lounges. Then I started a Facebook group called Cigar Cut Up. And then my most recent venture is I am a co-founder of Queen City Cigar Fest here in Charlotte, North Carolina. So, hi, ladies. Nice to meet you.
Hey.
All right. So who wants to go next, Ashley or Moxie?
I'll go
Go.
next.
Go for
So
it.
I'm just Moxie, crazy girl from Arizona. I've been smoking cigars since about 1996, probably before some of you were old enough to smoke. And didn't really get into the industry as any kind of figure until about a year or two ago. Mostly I was hired by a lot of local lounges to do cigar pairings for them. I'm a tequila girl, and it's rare you found those pairings at that time. And that just kind of led to me starting a whole lot of things that are very female centric, a Facebook page, a group. I hit lounges across the country. In fact, I'm out of state right now to meet with women in lounges that are female friendly, female centric, and do some educational stuff. We just broke a YouTube channel, and now I'm working on a tour across the country where we'll just travel from lounge to lounge to lounge and meet women all over the country and smoke cigars. That's it. Nice to meet y'all.
Love it. Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you too. I'm Ashley from Big Ashes. started a cigar Instagram during COVID because I was home and smoking all the time and figured why not. I've been smoking cigars for about a decade, but I just never took selfies doing it before. So that's kind of my story.
Awesome. Well, I
Not
appreciate
that
you
crazy
ladies.
exciting.
Yeah, I appreciate all you ladies for coming on here. So, you kind of gave you a brief introduction, but for each one, I want to get into each of your origin stories. You kind of gave like a snapshot, but your origin, as far as how you got into smoking cigars and all that. So, let's start with Ashley. Like you said, you've been smoking for around 10 years. So tell me about how you actually started smoking cigars.
Yeah, so the first time I like really remember having a cigar and being like, this is something cool, I want to do this more. I was in grad school and I was doing an event with one of the professors, and they had cigars, and I had no idea what I was doing, didn't know how to cut it, light it, smoke it, anything. Mine kept going out. So it was not a great first cigar experience. But then I was like, you know what, this is cool. I'm gonna stick with this. So I tried and then just started smoking more different things. I did the thing most girls do. I started with the flavors. Smoked a lot of those for a long time. Then Rocky Patel because they were everywhere. So I was like, oh, this must be good. Um, you know how it is, right? You see them everywhere, and everyone's like, oh, try Rocky Patel.
Yeah.
So I smoked that for a while, and it just branched out, and now I love it. I smoke a couple times a day usually.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, Miss Christine, how did you get into cigars initially, and how long have you been smoking?
So I think it's been about 8 years. And long story short, I was working for a pre-settlement funding firm, and I was hanging around a lot of doctors and attorneys because they were my clients. And I just kind of saw them, you know,
Oh no.
You're breaking up.
some sales, and it was just the whole guy club, and I was just like, God, I want to get over in that group. So I was like, okay. So by the time the next event came around, I said, okay, I'm gonna make sure I know about cigars. I'm gonna go learn how to smoke me a cigar, make sure it's a good cigar, and see what happens. And I did, and I got invited into the Cool Kids Club, and it was like, okay, cool, I like this. And I was like, wait a minute, I don't have any money. This needs to make me money. Flag on the plate. So I was like, okay, yeah. And then I was like, okay, I kind of been, raising kids, and I was an empty nester, and it's like, okay, I don't want to sit down, I want to travel. So I said, let me do this mobile cigar lounge thing and travel, build my brand, and then eventually open a brick and mortar. So July 15th will be my 5-year anniversary for Lipstick to Fingertips Mobile Cigar Lounge. So I'm
Very cool.
excited about that. And I didn't start off on flavored cigars. I started off on Rocky Patel Sun Grown as well. As she said, they were everywhere. So that was my first cigar. So I never got into the flavored or infused too much. I tried every now and again, but it just don't really, catch me. And I'm much a full body smoker for the most part. So, hey, I'm glad. I'm happy to be in the industry, happy to be amongst the sisters, and keep it smoking.
Awesome. So let's go with Drita and then Moxie. I'm just gonna keep mixing it up just to keep it interesting. So
Well, yeah, my story is a little different. So I was dating a guy that lived in a and he came down to North Carolina to come visit, and he had opening up where he was living, one of our lounges where I was at, were in Greensboro. So we went over to Havana Phil's. I completely fell in love with the lounge. It was so pretty in there, and he asked me if I wanted to smoke, and I was very hesitant because I thought I had to inhale. So he gave that was my first cigar, and it was sweet, and I loved it. I'm looking around, I'm seeing all these professionals and the ambience of the lounge, the sweet cigar in my mouth, and I didn't inhale it, choke. It was great. So after that, he went on back to the DMV area, and then I came back to Charlotte to try more acid cigars. So I ran through the whole line and was completely on the infused cigar kick, doing the Fat Bottom Betty's and Tabasco Say, and I did it all. And then eventually developed my palate to full body, full flavor cigars now. I don't smoke infused cigars anymore, but Yeah, that's my story. And then after that, I started taking pictures smoking, like Ashley said, and then my Instagram just got a little crazy. So I was like, okay, well, how do I capitalize? And then the story.
Awesome. So Moxie, let us know about your origin story. You've been probably smoking longer than everybody on this show combined.
Probably, but I'm old enough to be all your mama. So I had my first real cigar that wasn't like a Swisher Sweet or something at parties in '96 with my ex-husband, who was really into cigars, and I had quit smoking. Also in '96, and believe it or not, it was a Macanudo when Macanudos were still Macanudos. I didn't even know infused cigars existed until 2 or 3 years ago, to be honest with you. But I will own that I still enjoy a Tabac Negra on a Sunday morning with my coffee, and I have no issue with people smoking infused or flavored cigars. I say smoke what you love. Anyway, he was really into cigars. At that time, we were sitting pretty good in life, so we built a humidor in the house. But I never really smoked publicly. You have to remember, I'm a little bit older, and so it wasn't real accepted for women to smoke back then. So I smoked at poker night with the boys after I was single, and when we would all go out, I would hang out at the lounge because most of my friends were guys. And I don't know. Then one day I just decided, the heck with it, I'll smoke wherever I want to smoke. And Moxie came from me being in a humidor and watching a lady being pretty much chastised and belittled. And I stepped in and talked to her a little bit about cigars and what I thought she might like, and made a joke. I'm going to start a Facebook page where women can ask questions and not be made fun of or to feel slighted because they're a female, because we need to own more of this world. And we're the second largest growing demographic of cigar consumers. So now my goal is just to help that out.
Awesome.
That's it.
Awesome. So yeah, next we're gonna get into, so there's several different generations, age groups here. So during your own era of getting into cigars, what were the perceptions of women smoking cigars? We have ladies from all over, so we have some, I'm sure you guys have similar but also very different. Moxie will probably have the most different, but so Ashley, just let's get into during your time, your time's like my generation. So
I can't hear Mike.
What?
Hear Mike?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear him.
What do you feel like the perceptions were during when you first got into cigars of women smoking cigars?
I don't know. Everyone's been pretty cool to me. I mean, kind of like Moxie said, I do have that where I'll go to New Cigar Land sometimes, and they'll be like, "Oh, here, sweetheart, like try this." And I'm like, "I don't want that, and I know what I'm doing. I'm fine." So I do get some of that, like, "Oh, here you go, sweetheart. Do you know how to cut it?" Especially like if you go to Vegas, like when I went to Casa Fuente, they were like, "Do you know what you're doing?" I'm like, "I know what I'm doing. Like, it's fine." But for the most part, everyone's been pretty cool and pretty nice. I feel like the cigar community is a really welcoming community. So it's like a family.
Yeah, cool. Now, Drita, so during the time when you started smoking cigars, what do you feel like the perceptions were? Do you feel like it was accepting it as it is now, or was it just getting there?
I'm finding that it's overall accepting. I think the biggest challenge for me is when I go to lounges, some men, not the ones that I go to the most, but some men will assume that I'm there to pick up on men, that I'm not there to or to fellowship with some of my girlfriends, or or even do business. I've done plenty of business meetings in the cigar lounge. They're assuming that I'm there to pick up on guys. I think that's the biggest challenge. I never really had an instance where I walked into a humidor and they're asking me, do I know what I'm doing or anything like that. But I think the biggest thing is just the assumption that I'm there for men. So I quickly dispel that. And so after we have our come to Jesus conversation on that, they sometimes find out that I know more about cigars than I do, and they're like, "Oh, okay," and they back off. So yeah, but I think overall, most people are seeing a woman in a lounge and smoking.
Yeah, definitely. And Moxie, so we'll get to you. So during that time, it wasn't quite as accepted. So like, what were those perceptions for you? and you talked about not smoking publicly, and tell us about that time in the industry for women who smoke cigars, or the cigar community.
Well, you have to remember, we're talking back in the 90s. So, this is a few generations ago. And there were areas in the country where it was very acceptable to smoke cigars, but far more it was not. And I think what you ran into more than people having an issue with women smoking cigars was the fact that lounges just weren't a place where women hung in those days. It was rare I ever saw another woman if I went to a lounge with my ex-husband. And that was the guy's place to get away. It was kind of, the 19th hole for the golfing guys. That's just what cigar lounges were. So it was definitely, I don't think it was the smoking of the cigars that was unwelcome. It was just the idea that it's a man's world. And in many places, it very much still is. I had this conversation just the other day with Jack Tarano. There are still lounges even in Florida where, whether anybody wants to admit it or not, it's just kind of the guy's place to get away. I don't think it's personal, but definitely if you walked into a humidor, you weren't treated like you knew anything. Always the first questions were, oh, did you want, the flavored cigars? Have you smoked before? I love the one that's, are you buying for your husband or your boyfriend?
All the time.
No, all right. That one is still common. I hear it all the time. Did you come in to shop for your husband? I don't know what about me would make you think that I would shop for someone else instead of myself. But I mean, it's far more accepted now. I think we are much more welcomed in the cigar community than we were, 30 something years ago.
Yeah. Well, thank you for, you helped pave the way for a lot of, the women who smoke today, because you started during the time when it wasn't as common, and you just helped bring it out there. So salute to you, Moxie. We appreciate that. Now, Christine, you could have you expound on, during the time when you started smoking, and then we'll move on from there.
Can you hear him, Christine?
Can you hear me? Okay, can you hear me now?
I can hear you, Mike. I cannot hear her.
Yeah, I can't hear Christine.
Okay, I'm back. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. So I don't know if you heard me, but just care to expound on. Oh, you heard me?
I didn't. If you're talking about what you were talking to the other ladies about.
Oh yeah. Just expound on that, and then we'll move on from there.
Okay. Industry. But I think kind of now, they kind of just kind of see, what I'm saying? Like when you walk into a humidor, they just kind of see where you go if you look confused. When they start seeing some of the brands that you picking up, they like, oh, okay, let me leave her alone. I'm like, oh, you don't need me. If you got any other questions, just come on out. Other than that, for the most part. But I know when I go into some smaller towns, they're more like, I'm in Atlanta, they kind of like, is it a lot of female smokers? I'm like, yeah, because I'm walking into, all Alabama lounge, like, no one. It's like 30 guys there, not one single female in there. And it's like, okay, so in certain areas, it's just not that. I think overall in the culture, it's a lot more accepted, now than then, because we kind of putting our feet down here. You know what I'm saying? We won't let y'all have nothing. So, a little more part of the norm.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll move on here because we got quite a bit more things to go over. So you guys have various movements or roles in the cigar world. Let's take a moment and plug what you do. You could get into more detail, even though you kind of gave your introduction, but get into more detail about what each and every one of you do, so that everyone else can learn about what you do. So let's start with Drita, because you got a lot going on. So just expound on everything that tell us how Queen City Cigar Fest went and everything as well.
So that's like the most recent project that I'm on. I mentioned before, I went Cigar, hosting at different events. I'm not sure if I really want to do that anymore. No shade to anyone else that's doing it, but I don't want to be the event girl. You know, I kind of wanted to dive a little deeper into it. So the Queen City Cigar Fest, this was our 5 days, 9 myself, 2 other partners. And we wanted that we were kind of focusing on the lounges. We wanted to, especially off of coming out of COVID, a lot of closing and a lot of businesses were suffering because of COVID, and we thought this would be a good idea to kind of stimulate the economy here in Charlotte, and then also emphasize and kind of highlight the cigar community within Charlotte as well. So, out of 9 events, 7 of them were at cigar lounges. Christine came to one. Thank you so much for supporting, Christine. And yeah, so we also had an educational component as well. So one of the founders did a whiskey pairing with AJ Fernandez cigars, and then really kind of broke down the different the wrapper, binder, and filler of the cigars, and then also the different notes. He even had like little jars of like cinnamon and oats and everything, so people can smell it and then be able to try to pick up the different notes that they might be able to taste within the cigar. So the educational component was really important to us. And then we also had, different events where everybody can socialize and network. We saw a lot of people passing business cards around, a lot of laughter, a lot of dancing. It was a great time. And then I also wanted to take the opportunity to special shout out to Espinosa, our sponsor, and he sent 300 cigars for the dinner, so that was fantastic. So so we're going to be doing this every year going forward. So that's the main thing that I'm focusing on right now.
Awesome. So Ashley, are you just on Instagram and you try to promote cigars? Like, what exactly is it that you do?
So, I mean, honestly, I'm still kind of finding my place in the industry. I'm pretty new to the whole social media thing. I've only been doing this about 6 months. My thing isn't even necessarily promoting cigars. Like, I really just want to promote women smoking and normalize it. Like, I love smoking, and so I want it to be more socially acceptable for other women to smoke and do what I love. I really just, I share my experience. If I have a cigar and I like it, I'll post it. If I have a cigar and I hate it, I'm not going to post a picture of it. So I just try to share with other people and other women what I like, and hopefully it catches on and they like it too.
Awesome. Now, Christine, you went into some detail, but you could give more details. And I know, I've also done an interview with you and all that about lipsticks and fingertips. So tell us about that and some of the awesome stuff that you do. And I know you've been real busy lately, all over the place.
Yes. So Lipsticks and Fingertips is my mobile cigar lounge, and that is rented out for private events. And we're not just out of Atlanta. I travel, been far north. I've been, Alabama, Chicago, Florida. Actually, not Chicago, Detroit, Florida, Tennessee, Carolina. So I've been making my rounds. So I also have an apparel line for Lipsticks and Fingertips, and I have a male line, which is Lost in Smoke Forever. Also LSF. I have so many different products, retail products that I provide, from mugs to aprons, shirts to masks, to hoodies, the jogging suits. You think about it, mouse pads. You think about it, I got it. So I'm really excited about that. That's been pretty good. With COVID kicking in, the online sales kind of went up and got a little bit more exposure online store wise. So that's been pretty awesome. Also during the COVID, I also became a cigar roller. So I'm also rolling cigars. I have a blend that I'm putting together. I won't be putting it in a bunch of shops, but I will be offering it online. So look forward to that. I kind of mentioned that on our first interview.
Yeah,
A little breaking news, so that's pretty cool.
I broke the news. That's what I did.
I just recently dropped a commercial. you do. That's what you do. I dropped a new commercial recently, and I have one out before that, but this one was just kind of really to let people see the great time that can be had on the lounge, outside of the lounge. That's a really cool feature that I offer as well. So I'm excited about that. LSF will be doing a tour in 2022. So I'm looking forward to that, hitting all the states and lounges. And it was planned for 2019, but that had to get put on, no, 2020, but that had to get put on hold. So I'm looking forward to getting that together for next year. So a lot of events and stuff coming. I'm be a part of Atlanta Cigar Experience here with Cigar Mike. Everybody knows Cigar Mike. So we'll be doing that coming up in September. So I'll be having a lounge out for that. So some public events that I'm a part of. Also doing the Cigar Heritage Festival in Tampa. So my lounge will be on site for that. So if people follow me on my Facebook page, YouTube, Instagram, or on my website and subscribe, they can keep up with my public events that I have out. So I'm excited about that. And everything's just, it's been pretty good. Everything's moving right along, trying to, make my foot in the industry. So I appreciate everybody showing the support for the lounge and the payroll and everything. So thank you.
Oh yeah, and one more thing though, I just got to experience lipsticks with fingertips. I got booked to go to Charleston, and so I got to experience it. And those couches, those little chairs in that lounge, I was so tired. I just sat there like most of the time on one of the nights. I was like, I'm tired. If you want to come to me.
Other people and other women like, oh, having fun with it.
Well, we got feedback there. Okay, so yeah, those chairs are awfully comfortable. So
The
now,
whole lounge is like super beautiful. Like I haven't seen
yes,
a lounge like that. So hats
yes,
off.
super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Moxie, so we're gonna get to you. So you just recently launched AZ Moxie, and you kind of got into it. So just give us the full scope. And I know you're on the road, right now. So
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm always on the road lately, it seems, between cigar shows and events and whatnot. I'm never home anymore. But yeah, so we everything kind of got delayed with COVID as well. The first thing that we had going was a tour of Ybor City, and 20 women and myself were going to spend 3 or 4 days there with different events, and at Napa as well with Nish Patel. And we had to cancel that because of COVID. So we've got that going on again, but we've got Smoking in the Boys Room, the Facebook group, and it's, again, very centric on a place where people can, of course, the usual post pictures of smoking and cigars and whatnot, but more so where you can ask questions, and it doesn't matter because there's no such thing as a dumb question. I mean, I had a lady reach out the other day and just ask me, I don't know how to retrohale. Can you talk to me? So there are things out there people are uncomfortable asking, and they shouldn't be. So we've got the page for that. We've got the website going. The YouTube channel will break. I think we're starting with about 14 videos. Most of them are educational, several are reviews. I've also put together a Moxie review crew, and that's a crew of 5 women from across the country, all different walks of life. We'll do cigar reviews together as a team in a very kind of, there's no such thing as a bad cigar manner. Little bit different than what you're doing, Mike, but just cigar reviews, lighthearted, if you will, with kind of a creative scale on which to measure them that goes from you're never getting a second date to, yeah, I'd move in with you kind of deal. And then now, of course, I'm working real closely with several boutique cigar companies, as well as a little bit of work with Jack from Espinosa and, of course, Ricky from CAO, who are hoping to back the Moxie Across the Country tour, where it'll just be me and my Jeep and my trailer, traveling lounge to lounge to lounge, and meeting with groups of women. And I just want to say, I didn't know about your mobile lounge. This is why I need to get out there, I guess, and do more homework, but that's phenomenal. I'm so excited that you're doing that, and I can't wait to see it one day.
Awesome.
Yeah, I just had to unmute her because there was like feedback coming from her. So
yeah, I was hearing it. It sounds like, if I heard it right, because I was struggling a little, that she was doing this mobile lounge before COVID even hit. That's just a phenomenal thing. Several people did it after, but to have that going already and go to the different states is just awesome.
Yep. All right. So I got through everybody for that question. So we're going to move on here. So I'm actually going to cut some of the questions because we got a whole lot of material. So, but I'm going to ask the important ones that are interesting. So, what women in the cigar industry have been your biggest influence as a cigar smoker? We'll start with Drita first this time.
Oh gosh. Well, and I'm not saying this because she's on the screen. This is honest, and I've never told you this, Christine. So when I first started smoking and was on social media, there was a few people that were very prevalent to me that was on social media. Christine was one of them. I always like the way that she carried herself. I feel like she embodies the same type of essence that I want to give off, which is class. And then also Jax from Altadis Rep. I was watching her for a while. Love the way that she moved and her knowledge on cigars. And then the other person was Cigar Vixen. I was talking to a lot of different people about her, and I've heard nothing but good things about her in terms of her knowledge base when it comes to cigars. And to me, I feel like she's also another woman that kind of opened the doors, kind of kicked open the doors with people, respecting the palate of a woman and being knowledgeable and making a business out of it. So I would say those are my top three.
Awesome. So Ashley, who are some women in the cigar industry that have influenced you?
Honestly, there's so many. Like every single woman in the cigar industry, all of them are amazing. Like it's great to have so many women in the industry. Definitely Cigar Vixen. I feel like she's, like you were saying, like the OG that kicked down the door was like, hey, women are here. We know our shit. Like we know quality. So hats off to her. I mean, she's absolutely amazing, and I have a lot of respect for her. Chase Fire, I actually just hung out with her yesterday. She's amazing. She opened her own lounge. She's super cool. And like you were saying, I have a lot of respect that like she puts herself out there in a very elegant way. And I have a lot of respect for the women who don't try to be a boy. Like you could still be a woman and smoke a cigar, be very feminine and ladylike. And it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be a manly thing. It can be a very feminine, beautiful experience. So absolutely love her. Some of the other girls I follow on Instagram, Cigar Lover 12. She's awesome. Met her in Vegas. She's such a sweet person, knows so much about cigars too. Really just like every woman in the industry is amazing. I'm so happy. Even like, the three of you here, you guys are all amazing, and I'm so happy you're here. It's just the more women smoking cigars, the cooler it's going to be for all of us. So it's great.
Excellent. Now, Moxie, who are some women who have been your biggest influence?
To be honest with you, Mike, most of the women who were the biggest influence for me in the cigar world are different reps. Crystal Cigar Connect here in Arizona was huge. Chrissy with Rocky Patel. Gotta love Leo. I think Leo carries herself so well. And being a brand owner and creator. Ariel from La Serena is huge. Also, at the head of the helm. Just kind of kicking ass and taking names. But I, as cheesy as this is going to sound, the women who are the biggest influence on me are the women who just smoke cigars because they love cigars and they don't let anything or anybody stop them, no matter what it is they smoke. Those are the women I'm about.
Awesome. And what about you, Miss Christine?
I can't hear you.
Can't hear you now. That's why live shows are funny. You never know what things are going to go wrong or right, but we just keep pushing. But it's all good.
As long as I got a cigar, it's all good.
Yes, that's
No
my
complaints.
motto right there. That's my motto.
I've never lived an edited life, so there's no reason to start now.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm known for being shirtless, for God's sake. Like I literally, when I travel, people are like, "Oh, you're shirtless, Mike," and I'm just like who does that? Like,
Can you hear me now?
Real people, Mike. Real people.
I just keep it real. All right.
You can hear me? Okay,
yes, we can hear you.
I just took my Bluetooth off. I think that was creating most of the problem.
Yeah.
I was trying to say, when I first came into the industry, I wasn't familiar with a lot of females smokers. All of my advice really came from the guys, and they were really accepting of me. Preston with Taylor Smoke, Cigar Mike, Adam out of Chicago. It was like I kind of had to go through the guys to kind of get, track. And then my appreciation kind of came from the ladies that were coming up through the industry with me in the beginning. So, seeing Mina Cigars, them come up with their lounges. You got Mo with the Loft out of Detroit. Courtney with Smokehouse. We all kind of was coming up in the same realm of things. So we all kind of had to be each other's influence. So I kind of appreciate, the struggle of us coming through together. But, I have to give my hats off. I had a lot of help from the guys coming
Awesome. All right. So the next topic that I'm gonna go to is when you're having a cigar, what type of beverage do you like to pair with your cigars? It could be alcoholic, it could be non-alcoholic. Ashley, let's go with you first this time.
Oh, 100% coffee. That's like almost always my go-to drink with my cigar. If not that, then an energy drink, which is super cool, I know. It's probably the classiest thing you can pair with a cigar is a Red Bull.
What energy drink though? I'm gonna judge you if you don't
Uh,
say something specific.
So it's really lame, but my go-to is the sugar-free Monster, so it's like my favorite. Then
Okay, I'm gonna
second,
judge
sugar-free
you.
Red Bull.
You
can
gotta
do it,
try
it's fine.
Bang. You gotta try Bang.
No,
That's
I
the
can't
best
do
pairing.
it because every time you want to bang, no, I don't. I'm all set. Thank you.
Well, yeah,
But
the verbiage or whatever, but it's a really good pairing.
I will try it. I want to be a whiskey drinker, and I try it. And every time I try whiskey, I'm like, I just don't enjoy this. So kudos to you, ladies. If you like whiskey, good for you. It's not my jam. I'm a caffeine addict.
I know Moxie does. So, what stuff do you like to
Good for
pair
you.
with your cigars? You like everything.
Ash, I'm just gonna say, girl, I got your back with the Monsters. I live on them all day long.
Yep.
It is what it is. Well, Mike, it depends on what I'm smoking, but as you know, I love a good quality bourbon. So with anything, say medium to bold, maybe usually it's a really nice bourbon. I like it straight. I also love a good peaty Scotch like Lefroy. With it, it just depends. It really truly depends on my mood. I'm a big tequila girl, so if you can get a good quality like a double añejo to sip with your cigar, that's probably my absolute favorite. Again, it just depends on the cigar. Sunday mornings, it's a coffee and a light cigar, so who knows.
Awesome. Now, Christine, what are some of your favorite pairings?
So, to be honest, I never was a dark liquor drinker, so I am trying to get in the rhythm of that. So, Girl Sway, she kind of turned me into the Woodford Reserve Double Oak. I've been drinking the Uncle Nearest, but I'm a vodka girl. I'm a Kettle One girl, and I was drinking Kettle One before I started smoking cigars. So I'm not steering away from that, but I try to jump in there with the old fashions. But like I said, my biggest go-to is like a full body, a medium to full cigar. So I kind of switch it up. I'm flexible when it comes to drinks.
Sweet. What about you, Miss Drita?
Yeah, similar. So it really depends on my mood. Again, I can cigar with water. I can smoke a cigar with pepper. I can cigar with a nice whiskey or bourbon. Near Basil Hayden. Those are the ones I kind of go to the most. Water.
Awesome.
Gotta stay
And so,
hydrated.
yep. So that's what I'm doing now. I donate plasma like twice a week, and so right before and right after, I'm always drinking tons of nothing but water, because it will make you feel crazy. So I got to drink a lot of water. So do you ladies like to listen to any cigar related podcasts and watch video shows like similar to this? You guys have any favorite cigar related shows that you like to follow?
Yeah, I like KMA Radio with
Oh yes, shouts out to them.
Shouts out to Abe Crew.
Did you see them talking about my nipples?
Wait, what?
Yes, I got a KMA shout out a
Pepperoni.
couple weeks ago. My pepperonis.
Oh,
I got a KMA shout out. That's how I knew I made it.
hilarious.
I'm just glad we didn't have to come on shirtless.
Table Talk, their podcast occasionally, but I haven't got real active into the podcast, but I'm trying. But Cigar Table Talk is one of the ones that I know I frequent a little bit.
Awesome. What about you, Ashley?
This is going to sound terrible. I can't do the podcast thing. I'm a reader. I love reading about cigars. I don't have the attention span for podcasts. Like, I want to get into them, and every time I try, I've got like a 30-second video attention. That's why I love Instagram, because all the clips are real short. I know it's terrible to say when I'm on here, but I love reading about cigars. That's kind of my jam.
Sweet. Well, I do have a website and I do write articles too. So
I will read your stuff gladly. I love reading.
yeah. And what about you, Moxie?
Oh goodness. Also a KMA fan. I like the dojo. I like the real stuff though. That's what's entertaining for me. I like listening to you. I love Kevin, Cigar Prop.
Oh, yeah, Kevin's the best.
I watch a lot of them, and anything Cynthia does when she does a live or a podcast, I'm all over it. Cynthia, the hostess with the mostest, if you will. I
Yes.
just love the things that she does, and I should have said she's been a huge influence for me in the cigar and liquor world, and she's always defended me in my "you can pair tequila with a cigar." But I like the fun stuff. You know me better than most, Mike. I like to laugh and joke and clown, and so I like the real shows. That's why Cigar Prop is just perfect for me when he does his clips.
Awesome. And I'm going to get into the last question before the fun questions here. So when you're kicking back with a cigar, what kind of music are you listening to? Let's start with Miss Christine first.
So I've been drawn to the unwrapped artists. So if you have like Spotify and Pandora, unwrapped artists, it's hip hop jazz. So I think that's great, and it also is a great go-to for me when I'm on my lounge with events, because you don't have to have all of the vulgar language, even though you might be rapping it in your head. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be on display, and then you got the smooth jazz, and everybody's loving it. And it could be somebody in there older, 60, 70, and they rocking the Tupac and don't even know it. You know what I'm saying? Because they got the smooth jazz with it. So the hip hop jazz is kind of like been a nice smooth go-to for me.
Nice. Shoot, I like to trap. I like to sell dope while I'm smoking cigars and all that. I get into my moods.
Absolutely.
And now, what about you, Drita? What are you listening to when you're smoking a cigar at times?
I like music, but I usually don't smoke cigars. I am a big TV buff. I like various TV shows, so just catch me on my patio or in my garage. I'll be watching a movie smoking. So I usually listening to music while I'm smoking.
Oh, okay. And Moxie, what about you? What are you listening to when you're smoking a cigar?
Yeah, that all depends on my mood. It just depends. If I need to wind down and I just want to relax, it's a cigar, a bourbon, and maybe something like Nora Jones that'll just make me chill and let the stuff go. But I listen to everything from hip hop to country. It is what it is. I like it all. It just depends on the mood and who's over. Am I smoking alone or with someone? But if I'm alone and just trying to relax, I'll say the slow stuff. Easy listening.
Nice. And what about you, Ashley?
Kind of a little bit of everything. Like if I'm smoking outside in my backyard, I honestly like it quiet because I like to hear the birds. It's just very peaceful. Like that's kind of my Zen moment. Usually if I'm smoking too out in my backyard by myself, I'm not doing it like this. I'm like in yoga pants with my coffee, just, relaxing. But if I'm in the lounge, usually I put documentaries on. I love Netflix documentaries, so that's my lounge favorite. But in terms of music, I'm like you, Muffy. Like I listen to everything, classic country, classic rock, which I don't like to call it classic rock because I feel like AC/DC and those bands are not classic rock. Like that's my childhood, and classic makes me feel old.
Whatever, I got it all over you. Those were my first concerts, sister.
I love it. Well, I'm still 21. I started smoking when I'm 11, so
Awesome.
But yeah,
all right.
Everything.
That's sweet. That's cool. That's awesome. So now we're gonna get into the fun questions. So since we got like a group of people, it'll be like, would you rather? So I'll probably just let people chime in as they want. So I'll ask the first one here. So would you rather lose the ability to read or lose the ability to speak?
Read.
Yeah.
I'd die if I couldn't talk.
I feel like definitely speak because this is the only sign language I need, and then I'm good to go. Just keep reading.
You're number one.
Exactly.
Okay.
Just you, and you.
All right. So cool. So would you rather always be 10 minutes late or always be 20 minutes early?
20 minutes
20
early.
minutes
I'm
early.
fucking always 10 minutes late.
Well, you were on time. You were just barely on time for the show, so I give
Because
you
I
that.
told myself 4:15, so I was 10 minutes late still.
Oh yeah, true that. Cool. And would you rather be married to a 10 with a bad personality or a 6 with an amazing personality?
None of the above.
Both of them. No.
She said both of them.
I guess a woman then, and those are my two choices.
All right.
Awesome. All right. So, would you rather be able to see 10 minutes into your own future or 10 minutes into the future of anyone but yourself?
Anyone but me.
Anyone else. Yeah, definitely anyone else.
I want mine.
I want to see mine.
If I could see into my own, I'd probably change my behaviors, and I'd rather just not know.
Yeah, if you saw into your own and then you changed it, then it would be a different future. And then you just get stuck in this big everlasting loop. You see someone
Yeah,
else's,
I'd rather see someone
you could
else's.
turn that into profit.
You're right.
Like, let me change that answer.
It'd be perfect for sports betting. I win every sports game.
I mean, I guess in terms of dating, that could be a very good thing, but only 10 minutes wouldn't do you any good.
I don't
True
know.
that.
Depends on.
I think
Yeah,
I'd
you're
rather
right.
see.
Ashley, I caught that. She's
That's
like,
unless we were talking about
Yeah.
my ex-husband. Then 10 minutes would be plenty.
I think I would rather be able to see 10 minutes into my own future. That way, I could see any potential danger coming ahead. So, all right. So, would you rather have an easy job working for someone else or work for yourself but work incredibly hard?
The latter.
myself.
Well, since
I
I
do
just
have an
switched
easy
from
job
one to
working
the
for
other,
someone
I
else.
have to say myself.
Awesome. Yeah, I would say the same thing. That's what I'm kind of working towards. Even though I have an easy job and I work for someone else, but I have an easy job, but I work for somebody else. And then when I'm working for myself doing show and website stuff, I work incredibly hard. So guess I got a little bit of both, but that's kind of how it goes for all of us, right?
More rewarding.
Yes. And would you rather have unlimited international first class tickets or never have to pay for food at restaurants?
First class tickets.
First class.
Food at restaurants.
I knew somebody was going to say that.
I don't think
Yeah,
you've
I'm
ever
gonna
seen me
go
eat a
food at
steak, all right?
restaurants.
I ain't missing no meal, so I'm gonna go with the first class.
Right.
I can miss a few of them.
Right.
Shoot, I mean, you could go to Italy and pay for food over there, but you went to Italy for free.
That part.
Go.
All right.
Well, just
I
the
mean-
flight was free.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
flight, but yeah, that's the most expensive part.
Exactly.
Not the
Normally-
way I eat. It's not, girl. Are you kidding?
Well,
I just got back from
normally
Napa. The tab on one of my dinners was $1,000. You can fly to Italy for less.
Oh, Jesus. I
My
can't ever say
God.
that about a dinner.
Oh God,
My
it was
God.
so good though. It was worth it. 100% worth it.
Hey, if you got it, why not? And would you rather move to a new city or town every week or never be able to leave the city or town you were born in?
Ooh.
Move every week.
That's sweet.
I need to move.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Oh no. I'm still thinking. Like every week, God, I hate packing. It takes me like a whole day to pack for a trip. So,
Yep.
oh.
The next hometown.
Fuck it, I'm
Look.
moving. I guess we're going. Let's do this.
All right. And would
I
you
grew up in a town of less than 2,000 people. I have no need to go back there and stay.
Oh, I'm from
Hilarious.
California. It's hella fun here.
Well, when you know everybody, that's kind of, where I'm from. Everybody knows everybody, so it is what it is. Would you rather be completely insane and know that you are insane, or completely insane and believe you are sane?
Believe you're sane.
Believe.
For sure.
I think I'm already in that second category.
It's not me, it's you. No.
Yeah, 100%. I'm not a
All
Karen.
right.
You're the problem.
And would you rather travel the world for a year on a shoestring budget or stay in only one country for a year but live in luxury?
Luxury.
Luxury.
Shoestring budget.
Alrighty. And the last one here. So, Would you rather travel the world for a year? Oh, I repeated that. Okay, so that's it. I don't know why I repeated the accident. I guess I meant to copy and paste a different
I'm like, how
question.
much traveling we doing, Mike? No.
All right, so yeah, so that is the end of the show, ladies. I appreciate you for coming on. I hope you guys have a good. Ladies had a good time. I shouldn't say guys, ladies.
Thank
Yeah.
you for
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
No-
lovely
Thank you,
meeting
Mike. It's
ladies.
nice to meet you guys as well.
No
Likewise.
problem. And I'm gonna start doing like a ladies of the leaf show like every so often. You know, I'm gonna have different female cigar smokers on individually, but every so often I'm planning on, because my whole goal, I want to spotlight the ladies of the leaf that are not out there, that aren't just some hot chicks that don't know anything. Like I want to spotlight the women who know something, and you know, because those are the people that I want people to follow. Because you know, I mean, nobody wants to follow somebody that's just you know, that doesn't really truly smoke, that's not truly passionate about cigars. So
Awesome.
yeah.
We appreciate it.
oh
Very
yeah,
cool.
oh yeah, we can fellowship once we get off live and everything. But everybody that's watching, if you're watching on Facebook or whatever, make sure you head on over to YouTube, Team Shirtless Mike. I'm like 40 people away from 400 subscribers, so if you could hit that bell for me, everybody that's watching out there. And I'm also going to include, I'm going to edit the link with, I think I put everybody's social media, like their Instagram, but if not, I'm going to include that so you can follow these ladies, because these are some females that you really need to follow and get to know, because they have a true passion for cigars. And once again, I want to thank you guys for coming on the show, and I'll let you know when we are not.